in order to
turn?
Okay.
That's okay.
Whatever. There we go. Whenever
Ready?
you're ready.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Quality Matters. I'm your hostess, Darcy Chambers, here with
Kyle Chambers.
And we are at the Doug Mid-Continent Conference in Oklahoma City. And we had to come here to meet Sarge Summers, who we know through LinkedIn.
That's right.
But out of Houston.
Yes.
Right?
Out of Houston,
We've been in the same circles for years and never actually met.
That's right.
Across the state we do.
Sarge,
In
tell us
today's
a little
global economy, quality matters. Benjamin Franklin once quipped, "The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten." Quality Matters is here to talk about all things quality. So whether you're looking to improve your business, getting ready for an audit, or dealing with failed inspections, tune in, check us out, then get back to doing work that matters.
about what you do.
Well, you know, I've been in the industry for 28 years. I got a late start. I did 21 years, 2 days, 4 hours, and 15 minutes in the Army.
Oh, wow.
Before I got off into the oil and gas.
That's pretty specific.
I love it.
Well, you know, when you've had to live that life, you know exactly. You can ask any service person, male or female, and they'll be able to tell you precisely how long they were in. So,
Okay,
but anyway,
now I forgot how many years because you went down to the minutes.
Yeah,
Did you say
21 years.
21 years. All
21
right.
years. 21 years. I got involuntarily extended for a year during the first Gulf War.
Oh,
and
wow.
First went in on my 18th birthday during the Vietnam War. I didn't go to Vietnam. Went to Germany, spent 3 tours in Germany, 9 years, graduated high school over in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And our first child and our first grandchild were born in Germany as well, and we were there in '89 on November the 9th when the wall came down, which was really
wow.
exciting.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then, of course, like I said, I've been in the industry for 28 years, just getting started, and love what I do. And 4 years ago, I started my own company, Sarge's Industry Solutions.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
So what do y'all do?
Okay, consulting primarily. Actually, you know what happened was I set the company up, and when my paperwork came back from Austin, Texas, and my company was formed, my company was started on December the 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day, and I thought that's pretty
That's
cool
awesome.
for a company called Sarge's Industry Solutions and Pearl Harbor Day. But it started out as a consultant, but it very quickly morphed into something different where I actually represent other companies with their products and or services.
Okay.
Everything from above ground storage tanks to sucker rods to inspection to right down the line. Yeah.
Very
So
fascinating.
you know a
Very
lot
cool.
about all aspects of
Yes,
it.
ma'am. Jack of all trades, master of only a couple.
I like
That's
it.
right.
I like
That's
it.
the truth. That's the truth. Yeah.
I like it.
All
That's the
right,
truth.
so we've just been sitting here visiting with you, and we
Yes,
said, let's turn on the mics and start talking, and you said, let's talk about veterans.
I loved it. That's one of my favorite subjects. It honestly is. You know, when you stop to think that we've been around since 1775.
Right.
The Army celebrated their first birthday in 1775, so we've had a lot of birthdays over the years. And I could not be more proud of our military veterans, both the men and the women that serve here in the United States and that serve overseas. And, you know, you look around in our industry, we're starting to see more and more of our veterans come into the oil and gas and into the energy industry. And it's incredible. It's a great thing. You know, they have discipline. They have a lot of things working for them, esprit de corps, and a good, good work skills and everything. And so, you know, if you're not hiring veterans, you really ought to think about it. You ought to
Right.
give it a look. So, yep.
So they just feel like the military, the veterans are a natural fit for oil and gas?
I do, and I would say that at all levels. You know, whether it's in trucking, whether it's engineering. You know, a lot of our military veterans are well educated long before they ever enter the military. You know, we have a lot that go through the various military academies. We have a lot that go to the engineering schools all over the country, and so when they finish their career, they're still very young. You know, like in my case, I was 39 years old after serving 21 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, you're able to do that. And that was one of the key things for me. I wanted to get into the workforce before I turned 40. I don't know why I thought 40 was a magic number. It's not. I'll be 67. Yeah, I'll be 67 in December. But, yeah, I think there are a lot of things that they learn, a lot of different disciplines that they learn in the military that really help them once they come into the oil and gas industry. They're able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny you want to talk about veterans, because that's one thing that I guess a lot of folks don't know about us is that a friend of mine, founding partner of the company, he put in the seed capital for us to get started. Like none of this would even be possible if it hadn't been for his help, and he's still in. So I think he's got another 6 or 7 years left.
That's awesome.
But no, that's how we got started. And here recently we were just at the Veterans Day Parade because our oldest boy is in LDC, and so I guess I didn't know what LDC was until he got into junior high. So it's like the junior high version of ROTC. Okay. And so he got to march in the Veterans Day Parade. So that was really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You talk about a lot of these. The veterans have a lot of education
Right.
and a lot of skills. Like, how's that well suited for the oil and gas industry?
Well, our industry has so many different jobs, so many different aspects. And what I've found with military personnel is, I'll give you an example. When I first retired, I had only been with my company in Tulsa just for a few weeks. And the boss said to us, he said, guys, we're going to need to work a few hours Saturday morning. I never heard so much complaining in my life. And it just blew me away, because in the military, they own you 24/7.
Right.
And so when they say that we're going to have to work, 4 months straight without a day off, you just go do it. You roll up your sleeves and you go do it. And so I think the basic attitude of anybody coming out of any of the military branches, any of the 5 branches, is that, hey, no matter what I do in the civilian world, it's not going to be nearly as tough as what I did while I was in the military. And the demands on me and my family, and that's another thing, the families sacrifice so much. And another thing, talking about education and everything, a lot of these guys get out and they have educational monies that they can spend, like the GI Bill, to go back to school. I did some of that myself after I got out. And I went back and picked up 50 additional hours so that I wouldn't lose my benefit and have regrets. So that's a good thing. And they're just quick studies. The folks that are in the military, they're very quick studies. And there are some jobs in the military that equate to some of the civilian positions in the oil and gas industry. The one that I think about the most is the Air Force. They have POL, which is petroleum, oil, and lubricants.
Okay.
And so they immediately come out here
Right.
knowing what to do inside a terminal, inside a refinery, that type
Makes
of thing.
sense.
And so, they're just well adjusted.
Makes a lot of sense.
It just seems like they would, like you said, from the bottom up in the industry, they would fit in from, a mechanic to a leader, because that's what the military is
That's
about,
right.
developing the leaders.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly right. And leadership is something that's very, very important, not just in the military, but in the civilian world. I always like to say that the success of any organization rises or falls on leadership, and that's a very true statement.
I agree with
Very
that.
true statement.
Definitely. We've had a couple of podcasts on that topic as well. So you're talking about, having veterans get into the workforce. I've heard that this is something that's actually very difficult for a lot of our veterans to do. They have a hard time breaking into the workforce after they get out. What are some things that, if anyone's listening here, that would be beneficial in these men and women?
One of the things that really helps now that we didn't have back 28 years ago when I retired and I crossed over back into this industry was that we have a lot of job fairs. We have a lot of job fairs all over the country at a lot of the military installations. Fort Hood is the closest one that I can think of in our area outside of Houston. But the job fairs are very good. They can go online. There are a lot of different veterans organizations now that will help you with placement. And so it's a lot easier today than it was, like I said, 28 years ago. Yeah.
Interesting. So the military bases have the job fairs.
They do. They do. And then there's a lot of civilian job fairs. I know I've been to several myself. Just wanted to see what was going on.
Right.
And they're there, and they sit and talk to them. They bring their resumes, and they get an opportunity for that first interview and line up that follow-up interview. Yep.
Yeah. Sounds great. That sounds great.
That's interesting.
What about? So you talk about the work ethic that these guys have. I could see when they move into leadership positions having to maybe dial that back for the rest of us that haven't been through what you guys have been through. How do y'all kind of how would you equate to that, or how would you work with that?
Yeah, some do and some don't. Some do and some don't.
Okay.
That was a hard adjustment for me. Because you're just driven. When you're in the military, you're driven because there are two things that you think about at all times in the forefront of your mind. One is the mission, and the other is the men. And when I say men, that's men and women.
Yeah,
Right.
I understand.
But that's the two most important things the entire time that you're in the military is the mission and the men. And so you're hardwired to get things done, to accomplish things. And but yeah, sometimes you have to pull back on the reins just a little bit because a lot of the civilian folks. And let me just say this too. I've mentioned civilians several times. I've got nothing against civilians. Matter of fact, I married one. I married a civilian. It's a funny story too because the army when I first got in, they said if we'd wanted you to have a wife, we would have issued you one. You know, and I don't know. I never agreed with that. So anyway, we just celebrated 48 years of marriage. So
Oh, congratulations!
I'm proud
That's
of that.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
You. But yeah, you know, it's difficult for some. I know about the first 6 months after I retired, I still wanted to lace up my combat boots every morning.
Yeah.
You know, because I served in 4 combat units, and so you know that's just the way you think, especially when you go in young like I did. But a lot of these guys begin to start thinking about what their careers are going to be post-military.
Yeah.
You know, and so they start looking toward that, thinking about maybe going back and getting their MBA or whatever, you know, whatever's necessary for them to climb the corporate ladder, that type thing. A lot of them go out and start their own companies, which I think is incredible.
That's wonderful.
If we didn't have the small businesses, what would we do?
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And this country's not grown just with the large corporations.
No.
It's the small businesses
Yeah, it's like-
that make up this country.
It's insane how much small business runs everything.
That's right.
When you talking about when they get out of service and they want to go and get some education, you mentioned you went and got some additional education. That in itself, to me, could be kind of a daunting task to look at because there's an infinite number of options and avenues. How do you go about figuring this out? Because I can't imagine any line of work you go into is going to parallel what you've just done for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, well, yes and no. Again, you know, if you're a truck driver in the military, or if you're
that makes sense. I hadn't thought about
in
that.
the military,
Yeah.
and you get out, then you know that's a natural progression to that type of work in the
true.
civilian world. You know, but yeah, there are a lot of them. I know. A funny story was this company was talking to me, and the guy wanted to fly out to California and interview me, and he says, "Do you have a resume?" And I said, "No, I don't have a resume." And he said, "You don't have a resume?" And I said, "No, sir, I haven't needed one." And you know, I joined the Army on my 18th birthday and senior in high school, and had never needed a resume.
Right.
And but we do have what they call an annual efficiency report, at least in the Army. And so they evaluate you on that efficiency report. And so you have all of those reports that have been written on you for whatever number of years that you're in the service.
Right.
And you know, the other thing too about the military is, you know, we didn't have all the computers and stuff back in the day. But now, my goodness, you know, with the iPhones and everything, it is so easy for these guys to go on there and do their research long before they ever get out of the military. By the way, do you know what a road soldier is?
Not a
You
clue.
ever heard the term road soldier?
Never heard
It's
it.
ROAD, road. It's retired on active duty. And so there are some guys that even before they retire, they've already retired. You know what I mean? So they're retired on active duty. They know that they're getting. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
I'm
you
sure.
know?
I'm
It's
sure.
the absolute
They're
truth. So anyway, but you know, coming into this industry, I've thought about this a lot over time, and I don't believe there's any other industry that I would have done as well in as the energy industry. You know,
Makes sense.
and the thing about this industry is if you show the compulsion to learn, people are going to reach out and they're going to help you in this industry. It's amazing. And so, like I said, I've been here 28. I don't know what the next 28 holds, but I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
I really am.
Awesome.
I really am.
Well, you got any other questions?
I don't think so.
Well, I guess I got one last one. Is again, any folks that are getting out of the service soon or recently out, you know, where are some ways that they can go to get connected to some of the places that they need to go to start their next phase of their career?
Absolutely. One of the things that they can do is they can go online and they can look up some of these companies or corporations and see what job listings that are there. Then there are a lot of other folks like myself that don't mind giving a hand up, you know, hand out and a hand up, if you will, to help them. So if they want to give me a call, I will help them to talk with the right people and make that natural progression from the military over into civilian life. So, and again, what you have to understand is a lot of the folks that go in the military, they're not a career soldier like myself. They may do 3 years, they may do 4 years,
Right.
and then get out. You know, and so there's just all
It's
kinds
going to be a
of
very different
opportunities.
experience for everyone.
Absolutely, and what you'll find too is the folks that are doing the hiring, they're out there looking. they're out there looking for the military folks, you know.
Yep.
And there are companies right now today that set a parameter, if you will, on a percentage of veterans that they want working inside their organization.
Oh, that's
You know,
awesome.
Yeah, it is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
It's
I love
a great
it.
thing.
I
It's a
love
great
it.
thing.
I love
Yeah.
it.
And I love what you folks are doing.
Well,
I don't know
appreciate it.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but quality matters. Quality does matter.
It does. It does.
That's
It
right.
does. Hey, I appreciate it. I'll make sure all your contact info is going to be listed in the show notes. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, got any questions, they'll know right where to go.
Sounds good. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Awesome.
I
appreciate it.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank
You too.
Gonna
Want to
do
do that?
anything?
Yeah, I'll do.
Do
I'll
you,
do my
do you
little app.
not want me to look at that camera at all?
No, we'll
You
just
want
talk
me
to each
stay
other.
here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just talk to each other.
Kind of a casual conversation.
Am I in there good? All
You
right.
got my good side? One guy said, I walked all the way around you. I never found a good side. I said, you need to walk around again. Got a good side.
Well, I didn't hit the
Natural.
record. On the. Sorry. Just got mad at
Can you
myself.
start over?
No. We just want a video for this. I'm cut this little section out. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Just.
Well, to go turn it
Yeah.
on and just make a note that we missed it. He'll have to do a little editing on the audio now. I heard it beeping. Oh. Well, we don't have to worry about your good side now, Sarge.
No, that's all right.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Memory card's not working.
Okay.
Sorry. Rewind.
Okay. So, do you feel like